Welcome back, Patriots, for another episode, heck, of the Bald Brad Show. It is officially Friday, and damn, Patriots, you were in the chat quick. I didn't even hit the live button. How'd y'all get in here? Who let you in? Well, it's great being back with you nonetheless. And as many of you know, Friday is kind of more of a chill, laid-back episode / show where we're going to spend more time in the chat. We're also going kind of over, not necessarily mainstream headlines. The reason why, for those, because we got always a lot of new viewers. Thank you so much for choosing us here. Well, because the news cycle pretty much only goes from Tuesday to Thursday. What they tend to do is later today, they will do like a news dump. And they'll kind of just throw some stuff at you. It's like throwing spaghetti on the wall. And inside that spaghetti is like a diamond ring. And they will hide something in that dump. And that's where Monday's news cycle comes from. And then they try to kickstart stuff for Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday. So the stuff we tend to cover on Friday, leftovers, have a little bit more of a good time, and hang out with one another. And like I said, read the chat a little bit more than what we usually do. And as many of you know, I try not to look over here too much because you guys are freaking hilarious, which I love it. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not tired of winning. I don't know about you, but I'm still on an election high, and it's going to be going for quite some time. We got the executive branch. We got the Senate. We got the House. We got a sweeping vote. I'm feeling pretty good. And then Trump comes out and he goes, I'm not done yet. Everybody, hold on. And he just starts electing great people to these great positions. And it's everything that I've ever wanted. I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? People said they're missing Spooky Adventures. Yeah, I got to get on that. Yeah, I know. I miss it too, to be quite frank, because I actually have a lot of fun. They might be wondering, Michelle, people might be wondering, what is Spooky Adventures? Well, it's Friday episode. Might as well handle this now. On the Bald Brad channel, we used to take one day out of the week, and it was a Saturday, to kind of just have fun as a community. And one thing I really enjoy is the paranormal and supernatural. It's just something I've always been into. I used to read, what was it, the Hardy Brothers books? I think that's what it was called. Can't remember. Like the yellow covering, the hardbacks, you know what I mean? It had like a cartoonish style kind of cover. Well, doesn't matter. So we spent Saturday as a community. We would go over like paranormal videos. We would check out maybe like Bob Lazar stuff on UFOs. And it was a fun time. And we had a really good time doing it. I would get freaked out. Yes, it was freaky deaky. And there's time I get scared pretty bad. So, like jump scare, you know. Well, anyways, we created a second channel because, you know, this channel is about politics. And so there is a bunch of videos over there. Yeah, Hardy Boys. Thank you so much, Brian. I always say Hardy Brothers. Hardy Brothers is from WWF, which I was a fan of. So, yeah, Spooky Adventures is actually really fun. So if you're into the paranormal, like the, oh, thank you, Secret Agent posted the link. And maybe you could post it over at Rumble. Oh, you did. Oh, you're already on top of it. Okay, damn. Well, anywho, so if you want to go over there and subscribe, we usually try to post one on Saturdays, but quite frankly, I have not been doing that. I haven't been doing my job, but I need to. So I will post over there again. Maybe we'll do one tomorrow then. We'll see. Be up, subscribe, notified. Okay. Well, let's get into a little bit of news. See, I told you. Friday's just a little bit more of a chill day. I've been on strange disappearance cases. Are creepy. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of people who just go, bye-bye. Where'd you go? Where's Jenny? You know what's weird, speaking of that, Jeff? There's people, by the way, we do have news to cover, but just to let you guys know there. We do have content, don't worry. As you can see the bars up there at the top, there's a lot. What's weird is there's a lot of people that are going missing, and they've been gone for like a while, and they're being found. That's what I've noticed going on lately. How does that happen? How do you just leave your family, and then it's like, hey, yeah, we found Jim out there. He's just out in the forest, just chilling. Crazy. Amy says, my work is haunted. Oh, okay, here we go. Now we're getting to a little bit of the nitty gritty. My work is haunted. Used to be a crematorium and funeral home. Now a nursing home. Spooky things here. God, can you imagine like an older person? I'm hearing shit, Beth. Beth, I'm hearing shit. It's just freaking ghosts, right? They think they're going crazy. Oh, God. I saw Bob. Bob hasn't been here in 30 years. Jesus. Me and my wife, we stayed at a haunted hotel last year in Arizona. Was it last year or this year? And it was an insane asylum. People committed suicide. People died in there. It was pretty wild. Pretty creepy. Anyway, and that story is on Spooky Adventures too. So, well, we got this here. Let's get into a little bit of the news. I have fun on Fridays. Trump goes full MAGA as he picks allies and loyalists to fill his second administration. Full Make America Great Again. I said I was going to do it. Bada bing, bada boom. As a Trump ally says that President-elect Trump will have a more cohesive, more MAGA team in his second administration. And that's kind of something that everybody talked about in his first administration, right? Well, he didn't really have people that were, I guess, fully dedicated to him. Remember how there was a lot of those leaks happening in his first administration in 2016? There was a lot of those people that were kind of holdovers from the Obama administration. And there was rumors that those were where the leaks were coming from. That was kind of where all the issues were. And some of those holdovers from the Democrat side of the aisle sat there and told Trump, who Trump kind of, he's a business guy. You have to let the people below you kind of manage and decide things on their own and then give you recommendations. Well, he took recommendations from people that gave him bad recommendations. And that's why there was a lot of firings, a lot of turnover. And you gotta learn. And Trump, obviously as a businessman, learns from his mistakes and gets better. So he aims to turn the nation's capital upside down. And we are seeing that with these picks. There is no clearer statement than what Trump is doing here. And he's turning allies and supporters of his MAGA movement and first agenda quickly to assemble his second administration. He's putting them in top positions, which is great to see. The former and future president is clearly placing plenty of emphasis on loyalty as he makes increasing provocative picks for top cabinet posts. And unlike 8 years ago, when the first-time politician first took control of the White House, he is not in the market for establishment types. And I love that. And we commented on that just yesterday or the day before. Hey, what's going on, Sweet Sunset? It's been a while, I feel like. You get a salute. It's good seeing you. Sweet Sunset's been around for quite some time. It's very good to see you in the chat. See, I know everybody. And I know when you haven't been in here. We're not calling you out in a negative way. Just really good to see you. I do mean that. I know what you guys are doing. You can't hide from me. That was a little bit more creepy than I wanted, and I apologize, okay? But I know what goes on in here. This is like a room. You know what I mean? This is the Patriots, the people. Okay. You could say the Bald Brad Army. And I know who's coming in and who isn't. I take attendance. Case in point, but it's really good to see all of you. I do mean that. Case in point, this week's announcement from the president-elect, he has been nominating a lot of people. Matt Gaetz, I'd say, is the one that stirred the most. People are like, oh, God, this one's, I don't know. But according to the Patriots in the chat yesterday, you guys were really stoked about that. So if you're stoked, I'm a little bit more optimistic about it, which is good, because normally I'm a pessimist. Now, I want to get into this. I was sitting there, and as you guys know, I wake up pretty early here to do the show, and that's not a complaint. It's just I'm getting the news kind of earlier than maybe some people even wake up. And there was this post by Vivek, and I want to find it here because I posted it to my X page. And he was talking about, it's Elon post, damn it. Well, I have to find it now. I posted Elon's post. Elon's post was about Vivek's post, and Vivek was saying, hey, we're going to be sending stuff back to basically the founding. There's so much stuff going on that we're going to take things back. And here's Donald Trump kind of talking a little bit about that.
And you have Vivek Ramaswamy. It's taken people a long time, and now that name is emblazoned into their brain. But Vivek, wherever you may be, where are you, Vivek? Thank you, Vivek. Good. He's working with Elon on efficiency. They're working on efficiency, among other things, and they're going to be saving a lot of money and making our country stronger and better. And They'll be coming out with individual reports, but a big one toward the end. And you put those two together, it's going to be really great. So we look forward to seeing it, working with Elon, and that'll be a great experience. You're going to learn something from Elon, I think, right? It's going to be great. Thank you very much, Vivek. And great job. What you've done is fantastic.
I think it kind of goes both ways. It's not only is Vivek going to learn stuff from Elon, but Vivek knows a lot about how, all this stuff works. I mean, this guy's written a lot of books. He's been around it. So I think they're going to learn a lot from each other. And I don't know if they're the ones that it's going to be responsible for actually cutting these. Based on what he's saying is, there's going to be a report. And I guess this report's supposed to come out in 2026 or something. So it's going to be like a year and a half into Trump's term. I don't know if he's talking about slashing stuff after the report comes out, or if they're going to get the report and go, we're cutting all this stuff. I'm not sure. But I'm hoping that we get some big cuts because, like I said, Vivek had a post here and said, we're sending stuff back to the way things used to be. And we need to send it back to how the founding was created. And why don't we just kind of go through this a little bit together here? I'm just going to pull up his page for all of you. So this is kind of what I'm scrolling through, and I want to go ahead and find some of these posts, and we'll just read them together, because why not? It's a Friday episode. We got cats and drag queens. Okay, Vivek, calm down over here. We are very grateful to the thousands of Americans who have expressed interest in helping us at Doge. I saw everybody writing Doge in the chat. I had to. It's Doge. We don't need more part-time idea generators. We need here we go. Hey, if you need a job, here we go. Super high IQ small government revolutionaries willing to work 80 plus hours per week on I see clearly I'm at the high IQ in the morning here. Unglamorous cost cutting. If that's you, DM this account with your CV. If you want to pay me good money. Now, I'm not saying I'm high IQ, but if you want to pay me good money, I'll do it. I'll be unglamorous as long as you let me do my show. You wouldn't believe this government agency spending $5 billion. And I just come out here and tell all of you. Here we go. The government shouldn't be in the business of giving away free money. Uncle Sam isn't supposed to be Uncle Sucker. Correct. That stands in contrast to the many government bureaucrats who A, do little or no work, B, tell people only what they want to hear, and C, make more money than the value they create. God, I love Vivek. He's the best. He's the best. So here we go. I want to see this clip with him on Sean Hannity.
When Ronald Reagan became president, on the issue of defense, he called it a gap of vulnerability. China, Russia, they have hypersonic missile technology. We do not. We're going to have to spend a lot of money on defense to catch up and to surpass our enemies. Social Security, Medicare are headed towards insolvency. We'll have to spend money there. To me, that money is going to be made up through energy dominance. That's where I think our greatest opportunity is. Your thoughts?
Look, part of what's holding back energy dominance in this country is that administrative state. Look at the regulations coming out of the Department of Interior, the slow permitting requirements, how hard it is to open a new refinery. So I think that is the root cause of our failure as a country, is this unelected fourth branch of government. And I think they look at elected officials as these cute little puppets that come and go every little while. Not anymore. There's a new sheriff in town. Donald Trump's the president. He has mandated us for radical, drastic reform of this federal bureaucracy with the learnings of that first term. And you look, Elon's solving major problems of physics. I came from the world of biology. What we're solving here now is not a natural problem. This is a man-made problem. And when you have a man-made problem, you better darn well have a man-made solution. That's what we're bringing to the table. We're assembling the brightest minds in the country. This is the equivalent of a modern Manhattan Project to take on, I think, the major problem holding our country back. It's the federal bureaucracy. Target that cost, save the money, restore self-governance. And Sean, I think we did something pretty novel here, if I may say so. If I just want to say is this Department of Government Efficiency, it is built with an end date. We want to be done by July 4th, 2026. So for the first time in history, creating a department, creating a new government project that is designed to end when its work is complete. That's on the 250th anniversary of America's Declaration of Independence, and that's the gift we want to give this country on that birthday.
This guy does it all. He does it all. He just gets it. I got goosebumps again. Did you hear that last thing he said? Did you hear that? And that was one of my questions, and he answered it. Thank you, Vivek. Thank you, Elon. Thank you, Trump, for understanding how shit is supposed to work. Thank you. God, it's about time somebody gets it. What did he say there at the end? He said, this has an end date. That's important because I'm so tired of these government agencies getting implemented and they always grow. You never see a government agency get shut down. You never see that. Thank you, sir. Thank you. God, man, these people are, this is what we needed. This is why you don't get these bureaucrats. This is why you don't get these freaking politicians in there, because this is how things are supposed to be ran. We have a country again. We have a freaking patriotic country that's going back to the founding of how things are supposed to be. And it's so, the problem is here, you guys, I don't know how I want to phrase this. We've been living in such an ass backwards time since, honestly, I've been alive, and probably all of you. We're getting goosebumps over how things are supposed to be. We're getting excited over, oh shit, this is how things are supposed to be. Like, the best analogy I can give, it's a very rough analogy, is early on, taking out credit, right? Using a credit card or even just taking out a loan or something like that in general, financing something, was really frowned upon in America really early on. Like, even honestly through like the 20s and the 30s, it wasn't looked good. That's why you have that old cliche of the Cinderella Man with Russell Crowe, where he takes money out because he's poor, right? So he goes to I think it was social services or something like that. I can't remember. And he takes out money, right? And because he's starving, he has to feed his family. And he becomes a famous boxer. And what he does is he goes back and tries to give the government back the money that he took early on. And they're like, what are you doing? Different times. Nobody does that. Nobody even tries to do that. They just take. Well, it's frowned upon. But now as a country, everybody uses credit. Everybody puts everything on a credit card. Why? Because we're so used to that now, to where when somebody says, hey, you know what? You actually don't need a credit card. Like Dave Ramsey, for example. Yeah, you actually don't need a credit card whatsoever. You just buy things with cash. Like, you just save up. It might take you years. Like, I know I'm going to need a car at some point in the future, right? Like, I got to start saving up now. It might be $10 here, $20 there. But over the span of years, you got enough to get a little bit of a car that gets you from point A to point B. Is it going to be a nice car? No. It's going to be a used one and get you somewhere? Yes. You guys, my wife's not going to like me saying this, but the car that I drive has like 200,000 miles on it. I'm not sitting there driving a manly car, okay? I'm just thankful to have a car. So don't think I'm driving something nice, boys. I'm driving a car that's been through the ringer, but you know what? It's a car. I'm thankful to have it. And it gets me from point A to point B. And that's all I need. I don't need a nice, super luxurious. There you go. Angel says, I don't even have a credit card. Good for you. I have one. It's just not turned on. Now, so I want to find that thing. Here we go. Ooh, I want this clip right here. Here we go. He's going to bring a chisel and a chainsaw. Yeah. God, Vivek, you're so good. He's good.
It was not the destination. It was the start line for the revival of this country. The cabinet picks this week, you know what? Donald Trump wasn't afraid in putting Tom Homan and Kristi Noem in charge of the mass deportations of millions of illegals for this country. But I also want to thank him for making sure that Elon Musk and I are in a position to start the mass deportations of millions of unelected federal bureaucrats out of the D.C. bureaucracy. That, too, is how we're going to save this country. And I don't know if you've got to know Elon yet, but he doesn't bring a chisel. He brings a chainsaw, and we're going to be taking it to that bureaucracy. It's going to be a lot of fun. But I do want to say this, is that we've been taught to believe over the last 4 years that we have become a nation in decline, that we're at the end of the ancient Roman Empire. All we have is to fight over the scraps of some shrinking pie. I don't think we have to stay that nation.
What is this? Is that like a light in case they need to read something? I don't mean to cut him off. I'm just like, this is my guess, right? A light to shine on your papers if the teleprompter goes out. I don't know.
Nation in decline. I think with what happened last week, we're back to being a nation in our ascent. A nation whose best days are actually still ahead of us. I couldn't tell you last year that it was morning in America. It's not. It's not yet, but on January 20th, it is going to be morning in America, the start of a new dawn, the start of a country where our kids are going to grow up and we're going to tell them and mean it that you get ahead in the United States again with your own hard work and commitment and dedication, that you're free to speak your mind at every step of the way, that the best person gets the job regardless of their skin color. I think most of us agree on it. The next 4 years, it's just the beginning. It's not the end of the chapter, it's the beginning. And I think the work that's going on here at AFBI sets the course not just for the next...
No! Make internet great again. All right, well, let's see if we can get that up. 148.
Come back to the White House on January 20th. That is just the beginning of our best days as a nation, still yet ahead of us. Thank you all for supporting the mission here. Thank you all for your love of this country. Do not stop fighting until we get this job done. And 4 years from now, we're going to say not make America great again, but keep making America greater. Thank you all. God bless you and your families. Let's enjoy the celebration, and may our best days be ahead. Thank you.
And he's a good speaker, huh? That guy, that's a guy that has his bleep together. So they're going to be cutting a bunch of stuff. His number one issue is the FDA, as it is that it erects unnecessary barriers in innovation to replicate phase 3 studies instead of 1, refusal to accept valid clinical results from other nations, etc. This stops patients from accessing promising therapies and raising prescription drug costs by impending competition. So the agency staff have basically disregarded the impact of daily decisions. So Vivek's going to sit there and cut, which is good. I'm still looking for that one where he says we're taking this back to our founding. We'll see if I can find it. If not, then it is what it is. But nothing but great stuff coming from Vivek Ramaswamy. Now, what's interesting here is Jen Psaki, and I posted this on purpose on X. So if you're not following me on X, please do so. As you can see, we have a page. She comes out and says up here, laws are needed to control social media. This is what kind of Trump's been talking about with, what is it, Section 230, about basically restructuring that. And that would hold basically YouTube and certain platforms that act as publishers to have to basically moderate the content that's on there because they're already doing it. Guys, case in point, remember I had that, do you remember yesterday we talked about how I had that video removed? They never told me why. They just go, well, you were under the umbrella of conspiracy theories. We went through it together. I showed you the actual receipts, the proof. And I have to take some training, right? Some training. Like that's going to fix anything. They're not even specific. They didn't go, hey, you know what? This is actually the moment that kind of got you in trouble, if that's what you want to call it. They just go, oh, well, there's something that you said there in this 10-minute video that is wrong. So you know what? Rather than tell you what you did wrong, let's go ahead and just put you through this bullshit training and, maybe you'll figure it out. And then on top of that, you can file a claim and see if it goes through. And on top of that, well, life goes on and we'll continue to censor you. So here's Jen Psaki.
Accountability for having disinformation spread, right? And as you know well, and I mean, when I got started in Democratic politics, most of it was like local TV ads. That was what it was about. Obviously, national TV, local print. Those local TV is held to a higher standard of accountability than social media platforms in terms of having accurate information on their platforms. That is crazy. And so it is. How does it change? How are people held to account? Laws have to change, and no accountability for.
So. The reason why I bring that up is, again, she's talking about laws are needed to control social media. But if you notice, she's talking about laws to control social media with misinformation. Now, there's misinformation and disinformation. People actually get them confused because people just throw terms out left and right all the time, which I understand. Sometimes there's just normal conversation taking place or whatever. Misinformation is when you put information out there on social media, like say the Bald Brad Show, that ends up being wrong. And you didn't know at the time of when you gave that information that it was actually wrong. Now, here's the issue. We use a lot of statistics, especially in news and politics and stuff like that. And statistics change all the time. I mean, you could actually have different statistics in the same study, by the way. Well, you know, you can't always keep up to date on every single thing that comes out. So you might not know that a new study came out that basically replaced an old statistic that you gave on the show. Well, they'll deem that as misinformation. Even say maybe even the statistic wasn't all that different. Well, the statistic changed by 4%. Oh my gosh, that's going to change everything. Then there's disinformation. Disinformation is where I'm giving you a bunch of information that I know is wrong because I'm trying to manipulate the audience and I'm trying to craft a narrative. Now, the problem is that you could do that with a study that was designed by the purpose of misinformation and disinformation to change a narrative on a group of people. That's happened in the past before too. Here's the thing. It is not up to the government. It is not up to these bureaucrats. It's not up to these politicians to decide what I can and cannot say. It is not up to them. We have a First Amendment right, and I'm so tired of these politicians, these nut jobs, trying to chisel away at our rights and tell us what we can and can't do all the time. And that's why I'm so excited to see that finally we have people in office that sit there and understand the fact that we're tired of making government bigger. We're tired of having government in our lives. We're tired of having them decide what we can and can't do, creating more laws, what we can and can't do. Why don't they just step the back up? And I'm trying to keep careful with my words here, and just leave us all alone and let us live our lives. How about you stop acting like you're our parents and telling us what we can and can't do, and leave us the hell alone for a little bit. It's true. It's all true. Leave me alone. That's what I want. So again, Musk, as we saw in that tweet, they're going to be crowdsourcing some high IQ individuals. Now, there's a reason why it's high IQ, folks. And I'll kind of display that in a second. They give us misinformation all the time. Do they get a ding? I hardly doubt it. No, they don't, Cece. That is correct. No, they don't. Not at all. Yeah, Dizzy says, F the Ministry of Truth. Everyone over there sends their love to your beautiful patriots. Love that. Dave says, I can't say that on YouTube, unfortunately, Dave. I tell you, man, yeah, ScrewTube, ScrewTube's rough. So the reason why they want high IQ individuals, and it's funny, I was actually leaving a voice message to my friends the other day about this, is that for the first time in 100 years, a century, the American IQ has actually fallen. It's dropped. The reason why that's an issue is because we're becoming more technologically advanced, that the problem solving that we need to do as citizens in this country have become more complex. Well, the more complex something is to solve, the higher IQ you are going to have to not just solve the problem, but also be efficient at solving it. So, for example, there's a reason why low IQ individuals, I'm not saying this is anybody on the show, okay? I'm just saying generally, we're just talking about generalizations. Low IQ individuals tend to do kind of simple tasks. And those simple tasks will take even a low IQ individual longer time to solve or do than a high IQ individual, high IQ. So a high IQ individual tends to be at the top. And there's actually a great video by Jordan B. Peterson on these high IQ jobs, like a lawyer's high IQ, right? Like an accountant's high IQ, like those types of jobs. Well, they're able to do all those bottom tier jobs and relatively quickly. But the problem is you can't take those low IQ individuals and move them up here and have them solve those difficult problems. They're not able to go through things efficiently and quickly. So not only do you need to be able to go through this work efficiently and quickly, but you need to be able to process information in a way that's meaningful and actually cost-cutting things that will make sense. Finally, somebody's getting it here. And what we've had for so long in this country, because honestly, we're a great country, is that we're taking low IQ individuals and we're elevating them to positions that they're not going to be successful in, and that everybody else that's under them because they got promoted is being royally effed by their decision making. Case in point, I'll give you one right now. Karine Jean-Pierre, she went to Columbia. She is not a high IQ individual. There's no way in hell she's high IQ when you have to use a binder to answer basic questions. We have a massive problem in this country. The lowering of a general intelligence has been happening for the first time in 100 years, and we need to fix that. We need to fix it big time. So just want to kind of throw that out there of why they're doing it. So if you're high IQ and you're looking for a job, well, they're looking. Now, just remember, you're going to be out of a job July 4th, 2026. So there's only so much time. But good on them for actually getting rid of a freaking government, program. That's great. And it's not just going to be them, right? They're not just going to be cutting the umbilical cord from themselves. They're going to be cutting a lot of other umbilical cords here that's been suckling from the taxpayer teat. We also have the Trump effect here. Illegal border crossings set to plummet on one condition. So shortly after Donald Trump's upset election victory in 2016, official state of Texas business brought me to 2 ICE immigration detention centers in South Texas. I ran an intelligence group of the Texas Department of Public Safety. So the first Trump effect showed that real action must follow campaign rhetoric. So yeah, back then, part of my routine was to help the feds interview apprehended aliens for Pakistan, Syria, and Somalia, Afghanistan, and collect intelligence. The same surprising answer went something like this. People throughout Latin America heard Trump on the campaign stump vowing illegal immigration crackdowns, and they decided to stay home rather than risk the smuggling money for nothing. So that's the key point that he's trying to make here, because it doesn't go on. You have to actually pay for it. The key point was Trump needs to continue this rhetoric and the Trump effect, but not only can he continue the rhetoric, but he actually needs to follow through on it. And I think right now was not just the rhetoric, but that pick from Tom Homan is really going to show that he's serious about this. And also, all these illegal immigrants in other countries that wanted to sit here and come to America, they need to be aware of the fact of we have all 3 branches of government now. We didn't have that in Trump's first term in 2016. And that's why I always talk about the Nancy Pelosi, the Chuck Schumer, right? All those Democrats going, we can't build a wall. We don't have the money. Trump's like, I'll do it at $3 billion. Give me 3. I can do it in 3. Then we don't have the money. Sorry, Donald. We don't have the money to do it. Right? And they're sending $60 billion to this country, $10 billion to a country that hates us. We don't have the money. They throw out trillions of dollars during COVID. That was me trying to fix my dentures, because I'm Nancy Pelosi. I'm all out of coffee almost. So many conversations. We got to look at this community, man. You guys are blowing up the chat. I love it. 2025 is going to be fun. Oh, yes, it is. Yes, sir, it is. Dave says you have to be low IQ to want to be a part of that. Part of what here? What did he say? So how about Elon's Neuralink? Oh, yeah. Boo. I don't want to be a part of no Neuralink, man. Start uploading things in my head. What is that? What am I listening to? AM 640? I don't want nothing in my head. You know who might be good for Neuralink, actually, is Joe Biden. That might be a good test subject. Can you imagine? Like, he's coming out like, and then, like, the Neuralink comes in, it's like snaps him into place. Hey, everybody, I'm back. Oh, my gosh. Is this what everything looks like? You know what I mean? He's just totally normal. I love it. Look at us having fun here. If you're enjoying it, hit that like button. It does help us over on YouTube, and it helps people find our channel. If you're new here, welcome. Again, there's a lot of patrons in the live chat. Would love for you to join us. And again, Friday is a little bit more of a lax show, more of a conversation, hanging out. We usually do a Monday. Well, we do Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. But I mean, Friday's a little bit more loosey-goosey. Sunny Hostin. She's been on our show quite often lately. Sunny Hostin admits she gave Kamala a softball, which backfired. Oh, is that right? You gave her a lot of softballs. Matter of fact, that's all you do is throw softballs.
The question was, what would you have done differently?
I asked the vice president what she would do differently in a Harris administration as opposed to a Biden administration.
And what if anything, she wishes she could have done differently in the past 4 years, or whatever.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I followed up because I was surprised at the answer. Look, I think it wasn't so much about the question, but it was really more about the answer.
Not a thing comes to mind.
Not a thing comes to mind. And that's why I followed up with, is there anything that you would do differently? And the reason I followed up is because, that wasn't a gotcha question. That was a layup, really.
It was an important question, and I think one she should have expected.
Because that's what I thought. I actually thought it was a chance for her to explain to all the people who are saying, I want a change agent, for her to explain that, of course, she has a different lived experience from President Biden.
She had a different lived experience. Oh God, shut up.
But they did have one of the most successful administrations in our country.
That's the tricky part.
But they did have one of the most successful administrations in our country.
That's the tricky part.
And I thought she would then say, I would build on the wins that we've had. And
They had one of the most successful administrations. Oh God, dude. Yeah. If it was so successful, why'd you get swept across the country? The country's all red. I don't know how. It's the oddest thing. I don't know how people live in these delusions. The only thing that makes sense is they choose to. Because if they step out of that, their entire worldview gets shattered. And who could sit there and take something like that? Exactly. There you go. Successful. What, they ruined our country. Exactly. God, it was a layup of a question. Yes, it was a layup of a question, but nobody was shocked that she couldn't answer it. That was the whole thing we've been saying here on our show and everybody's show, is that's why she wasn't doing interviews, because she couldn't answer questions. And you notice that she kind of cut herself off there because she gave a follow-up, right? And what she was supposed to say was, I was trying to help her. Because that's what they do in those interviews, right? They don't do that with Trump. They don't do that with J.D. Vance or Vivek or Elon Musk. They don't help those guys out one bit. They kind of fill in their sentences like they did with Joe Biden because his brain's not working correctly. No. But they do that for Democrats, right? I was trying to help her. I was trying to get her to see like, hey, that wasn't a sufficient answer. That wasn't a good answer. So let me follow up with this one to be a little bit more clear for you. Nothing? Nope. Nothing comes. Anything come in the mind? Nope. Not. I don't think so. Nothing at all. That's how you know somebody's really stupid, right? When you sit there and you're trying to elicit, right? You're kind of guiding them along. It's called like a social awareness, you know? Like, hey, you know what? Maybe read between the lines of what I'm trying to do for you here. And she was going to lead the country. She was going to lead the answer a question. Shouldn't be surprised. Not whatsoever. No. Now, popular radio host, somebody that's also been kind of being spoken of here on the show for quite a bit here, is popular radio host Charlemagne the God weighed in on President Joe Biden's cordial meeting with President-elect Donald Trump at the White House on Wednesday, and he admitted to having a hard time wrapping his head around how that all went down. And I'm curious on if he's going to say what we said yesterday, where how are you going to call this guy a threat to democracy and that a racist and all these things, and then shake his hand in the Oval Office? Like, it's odd to me. If you really think that, like, if I really thought somebody was a threat to me or a threat to my family or was calling me a racist or all these things, I wouldn't bring them over to my house and shake their hand. I wouldn't be cordial with you at all. Screw you, man. How? Because it was all BS. That's how. He doesn't really believe that. Matter of fact, most people don't really believe that, even on the Democrat side of the aisle. It's just something they say because they like spreading, let's use the term that they like to use, misinformation, disinformation. That's why they say it, right? Because these people don't actually sit there and rationalize what's going on and go, maybe he's not a racist. God, there's all these pictures of him with like black people, giving them a bunch of donations, hiring them, giving them work, giving them jobs, electing them to high positions. That's really weird. Because that's what they do. They lie. And they've been lying. That entire party's been lying for quite some time. I mean, that party actually implements revisionist history. They actually say it's the Republican Party. It's a party of racism. It's a Republican Party, right? Those types of things they teach in high school now. That's why they only say the North and the South. They're actually not specific in high school anymore. They don't talk about the Democratic South and the Democratic North and the Republican North, that it was a Republican North fighting against the Democrat South and then the Democrat North in some areas. They don't talk about that, right? Because the people that teach it were Democrats. And when you start sitting there bringing in parties and showing that there's one specific party that has implemented slavery, the party, I should say implemented slavery, the party that wanted to keep the implementation of slavery, I guess to be more specific, the party that wanted to sit there and do all these horrendous things to black people and people of color. Well, those people that are teachers doing those things, well, they have to acknowledge that their party is also pretty scummy and had been in the past and still is, except now it's more of a metaphorical plantation than an actual literal one. I mean, in some cases, right, the Democrat Party is allowing still slavery to take place across the globe, which is pretty bonkers. I mean, you guys, they're missing 320,000 children that are sold off into forced labor. Your party single-handedly has kept in now still slavery across the globe. You have a whole sex trade taking place on top of trafficking human beings. Still. I don't know how this is. I can't wrap my head around how he's just allowing him into the White House. I've called him a fascist myself, but we're not talking about me. Because he doesn't believe it. What? Why is it about race? I mean, it's the odd thing to me that people capitalize on other people's racial issues all the time. I don't think, when I look at Charlemagne, obviously I see a darker skin, right? Obviously I have eyes, but I'm not going like, oh, look at this black guy. You know, so he's another guy. He's just giving his opinion. Another dude out there giving his opinion. And I disagree with it. And I think it's silly opinions. But I'm not sitting there, oh, this guy clearly, you know, he must have been in a rough area. Maybe he grew up in a really wealthy area. No idea. And truthfully, I don't really care if he grew up in a bad area or a wealthy area. I care about who he is as an individual. That's what I care about. And for some ungodly reason, we talk about it here all the time on the show. I don't know why people bring in race all the time, other than to create division, create a more tribalistic idea out there where you got black people, white people, Hispanic people, Asian people, and that you need to sit there and divide everybody up. We don't do that. Everybody's American. Everybody's individuals. They are who they are, and we can move forward. But they don't want to do that. Everything has to be about race, and it's freaking exhausting. It really is. Now, you'd be surprised here on the next article we're about to talk about, but Obama DHS chief defends Trump's national secretary related cabinet picks. Good. So, wow. For a moment in time, has his head on straight. This is nice. Obama administration alum Johnson defended two of the people President-elect Donald Trump has chosen to serve in national security-related positions in his incoming administration, Tulsi Gabbard, as well as Pete, which is two people that people are all up in arms about. Johnson made it clear during his Thursday appearance on CNN that he was not a fan of Trump's choice for attorney general. And again, I told a lot of people that, hey, people will get their panties in a bunch over Matt Gaetz, but he's willing to give grace on some of the others. He even defended Gabbard and Hegseth, explaining why they could be solid choices for those. She has spread Russian propaganda. She has challenged the intelligence of whether President Assad used chemical weapons, which the intelligence said he had certainly done. And now she's in the position to potentially head the high intelligence agency over all intelligence agencies. What does this mean to you? She asked. Well, I'm going to surprise you a little bit. I don't think that this is an absolute prerequisite that the National Director of Intelligence be someone of the intelligence community. I also believe that on occasion, it is a good thing to be skeptical of the intelligence that we are provided. Those of us who are in a position of making serious decision, policymakers. So, and it's a good pick. It is a good pick. And then it goes on to talk about the news anchor here. She pivoted to him and he said, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because here's somebody who was well-educated, obviously intelligent, was in financial services, was in the Wall Street community for a while, could have made a lot of money and chose to leave that, put on a uniform of our country and see combat. So I give him the benefit of the doubt for that reason. Again, I want to talk about how Donald Trump is doing the Great Reset. I call it Trump's Great Reset. He's sending this country back to how things were. You had average Joe citizens for a long time leave a position and move to another position in terms of government to serve their country again. Again, it happened throughout the founding, it happened throughout this country. This whole idea of like, well, you need to sit there and move up the ranks to make sure that you checked off this box. Look where that got us. You have these nut jobs that are generals, and I appreciate their service, but sitting there putting in woke ideology. There's men in uniform wearing skirts and wigs and makeup. I'm not going to believe anything the Democrats say. Oh, well, he's not qualified. And the dude wearing a skirt, taping his freaking you-know-what down with duct tape? That dude that's wearing makeup, that thinks he's a woman when in actuality he's a biological man, you're telling me that dude's fit? Yeah. And that's the problem. We're supposed to take all these people literal, right? Like we're supposed to make sure that we listen to them because they have the sanity, right? Their heads on straight. You know, I always say this: if you had a person that was schizophrenic, right? I think all of us kind of know somebody or encountered somebody that's schizophrenic, right? They're hearing voices, and I'm not ragging on them. I'm not belittling them. All I'm saying is you don't indulge that going, I hear it too, John. I hear it too. Yes, all those I hear it too. I see them too sometimes. Yeah, you do too? Yeah, no, you're fine. That's normal. I see them too. You don't sit there and play into that, right? So why are we sitting there playing into other people's delusions? Well, I feel like a woman. What does that mean? You guys, I'm a man. I couldn't tell you what it feels like to be a man. I know I am one based on my chromosomes, and well, let's look at what we're looking at here. Not too many women or men, quite frankly, are walking around with this dense beard of justice, baby. I could fight off a battalion with this beard. Sometimes I just picture somebody watching this right now going, the fuck's wrong with this guy? Brad, you have been peering through my windows at night. Jesus, Brian, settle down, Brian. Oh my lordy. I'm trying to read your guys' chat. It's good to see you, Big Weave. It's good to see you. Skits and Giggles. Oh, I like that username. You think Joe Biden was giggling when Kamala lost? Joe's like, dope me up for this one. I want to... Joe's hooked up on all these IV bags to make sure he's alert because he just wanted that moment of realization that Kamala lost. He wanted to be aware for that one. I want it so bad. I want to be awake for this. Is that mean? Am I being too mean to Joe? I felt bad about that one video kind of where I was like watching him walk through the sand stumbling. I did feel bad for him. Like I have a heart. I thought it was funny, but you can think something's funny and also feel bad for somebody at the same time. It's possible. Now, what are they going to do with all our money? And by them, I mean Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and, well, Anthony Blinken. They're going to spend it. Yep. This is like the double middle finger. Blinken says Biden will funnel as much money as possible to Ukraine before Trump takes over. We are obligated just recently and pushed out the door another $8 billion, you guys. I almost threw up. $8 billion. No big deal. God. I'm getting dizzy. I'm not even going to bother reading it. That's all we needed to hear on that one. It's only going to piss me off and I'm in a good mood. Can't even get a border wall built. Paying rent to leave freaking steel in the desert. It's no problem. $8 billion here. Let's get this. Can we do something? Yeah, get the barf bag. Yeah. Now you're going to barf because I'm talking about this woman, but more or less, there is good news about this article. So let's just get to it. Joy Reid's gone. The latest lib to quit X. Ooh, thank you. Now, the only thing I'm going to miss is reading your stupid comments and posting it on my show. And, but don't worry, we'll still have you on the readout. Yeah. We'll still have you saying stupid crap on television. But the Trump effect is taking over everywhere, right? It's cleaning house everywhere. We're getting rid of the idiots and creating a more prosperous outlet. And by the way, it's one fewer person to sit there and try to flag our content for misinformation, disinformation. So this is great. I ask all these lefties to leave the platforms. Please, can you leave YouTube as well, Joy? Can you leave YouTube as well? So for all I know, somebody like her that flagged that last video, and that's why it got removed. It's conspiracy theories. Well, there's a ton of videos about fucking aliens. There's a ton of videos about the paranormal. Aren't those conspiracy theories? There's a ton of videos out there. Why was it my video? Could it possibly be because I'm a conservative and I'm a Trump supporter? Which, remember how we ousted the YouTube individuals on that chat saying And I said, hey, well, it'd actually make more sense about the viewership and all those things if you would just admit the fact that I'm a conservative and that's why you're suppressing my channel. Well, we don't have control over suppressing somebody's channel, but you have control over fucking removing a video? It's weird how you could go through just one video and just remove it. So you're telling me you don't have the ability to do all these other things that we know is taking place? Yeah. Sure. 3D Wood Works. Ooh, that's a cool name too. Howdy, folks. Wood is America's renewable resource and offsets carbon. Plant more trees and build wood homes. I'm all for the wood. And I got to be careful saying that. As it was coming out, I'm like, not a good idea. The comment under Joy's post is comical. Well, let's see it. Today, I finally did something I've been meaning to do for a while. The reason for doing it and kissing goodbye to my 1.9 million followers, half of them are probably bots and fake, is because I haven't been posting for a long time. I just didn't want to be contributing content once it was purchased by its present owner. The host said she was fed up with negativity on X. It's weird because I'm on X quite a bit as well as TikTok. I don't find much negativity. I think human beings are hilarious, right? There's certain videos where you just automatically go to the comment section. You go to the comment section because somebody's going to say something hilarious. And if you love comedy as much as I do, because I laugh at everything, I'm all for it. I think, and that's why I keep saying I can't read the chat too often because you guys get me riled up and going. You know what I mean? And I know that you do it on purpose sometimes. I know you want a good rant out of me. I can't give it to you all the time, okay? You know what I mean? I can't rant all the time, right? Because then you just get used to it. It doesn't have its effect anymore. It's kind of that old cliche. You keep giving the lady flowers. At some point, she just expects them. Every so often, I would use it to just look at news that was trending and what's happening. And I would just use it as an aggregator. But I just realized that's not really worth it because in order to do the news aggregation and just to look at all, you have to basically sift through a lot of crap and just abuse a lot of negativity, and it's just not worth it. Bye, Joy. Nobody's going to miss you. I know you think they will, but they won't. Thank you to everybody on Rumble and everybody that came over and followed. I see Jessica. I see, is it Winoso? El Gran Rosso. I don't know if that's how you say your name, but I appreciate it. Thank you for the follow. So that's really cool. It's nice to also see what you guys look like. That's kind of cool too, because I don't ever get to see your faces. So come on, Brad. Let's let your hairs down. Jesus, Dizzy. That's it. Say you're antagonizing me. I don't like it. Just kidding. I do. Comments are the best. The money went to Zelensky's nose. Wasn't there like a story that Zelensky's wife is driving like a super nice car or something like that? I'm not saying that she can't drive a nice car, right? The question is where'd you get the money? Teacher resigns after viral threat video sparks outrage. What video was that? Connecticut teacher starts bawling on air after she was forced to resign for threatening. Whoa, geez. Okay. Yeah, that's a little. Yeah, you can't be. Well, that's not good. Says her threats are just one big misunderstanding. Please don't test your gangster on me because you'll end on a stretcher and gone forever. Now, there's times I think teachers will say things to students and you kind of look back and go, I probably shouldn't have said that. I probably should have handled that differently. But you can't say that you're going to kill people. That's kind of not cool. Whether, I don't care who it is. There's certain things you just don't say. Now, I'm going to tell you something that's going to be unpopular. Public education system is a dumpster fire. There's a lot of bad kids in there. And when you deal with it every single day, day in and day out, there's going to be a time where you snap and you say something you don't want to. I might here actually end up giving her the benefit of the doubt. Believe it or not. You could say all you want. Oh, well, you got to control your emotions. You got to control this or that. When you're in it day in and day out and you're living a miserable life at work because you're dealing with the shenanigans in the public education system because it's that bad. It really is. To the point where if I'm giving somebody the benefit of the doubt, you know that I'm telling you it's that bad. When that lady, if she said that and I'm still going, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. That's how bad I'm saying it is. and I'm being dead serious, you guys, you could not pay me $200,000 to go back into the public education system. You would have to pay me a lot more. That's how bad it is, and I mean that in all seriousness. Not every school is like that, but a lot of them are. If you want to fix the behavioral problems and all those things, yeah, sure. But you're losing a lot of, I don't think people realize the epidemic that's going on right now in the education system. I really don't think they even have, I don't think Americans have a slight clue what's going on. And it's sad. P.S. Trump won again. Love it. Krager says, then call the students her kids. Drives me nuts. Yeah, you know what? I want to be clear. I sometimes do that as well. Like when I actually did that yesterday. A guy, one of my buddies at work said, hey, you know what? Like I'm gonna come in and drop by during lunch. I said, hey, my kids are taking a test. I don't literally mean like my kids, right? I meant like my students, but you know, they're kids too. So that's what I mean. Like my kids, I don't mean it like literally like my children. I don't look at them that way. Matter of fact, sometimes I'll say, look, I'm not your parent. The fact that I'm having to have a certain conversation with you about discipline because you didn't do what you're supposed to do, I let them know. I go, it's awkward to me. It's weird. You're not my kid. I'm not your parent. And you're basically a stranger to me. I know you, but I don't know you like that well. So please know that sometimes when we say like our kids, not literally meaning like my kids. So it comes out that way. Instead of saying students, you say, oh, well, instead of saying my students, I go, oh, my kids, but I don't mean like literally my kids. So just give people the benefit of the doubt on that one, you guys, please. Because I know that's something that a lot of us go after the left for. And I understand it because some of them think that way, but most teachers don't. It's just saying, oh, my kids, my students. So, you know, be okay. Mr. Brad, can't wait to see this cabinet in action. Excited to see Doge and what it finds. Me too, Ray. Me too, my friend. Sweet Sunset said she's only sorry because she got caught. Yeah, I mean, it'd be the same way for me, though, you guys. Remember, I always try to put the shoe on the other foot. There's going to be a time in my life when I don't think that extreme. That's, I'm just saying. But there might be a time in my life where I say something stupid. Even here on the show, you guys, I've said stupid stuff all the time. You got to give people some grace, okay? I'm not saying I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt because I actually don't know the full context. All I'm saying is I like to give people the benefit of the doubt usually. I like to give them an opportunity. And we need more of that, I think, in this country. Brad, I like that you explained that to your kids. Yeah, that they're not my kids and I'm not their parents. I don't know if that's what you mean. But they're not my kids. That again, that's what's so odd about this is that we're almost being treated to parent somebody else's kids. I'm not a babysitter. Like, if I wanted to have kids, I would have kids. I just want to sit there and do my job, treat them with respect. I'd like that respect back, but you can't demand respect, right? And yeah. So yeah, you couldn't pay me enough to go back in the public education system. Not good. Not good. Anyways, thank you so much for hanging out on this Friday. I guess I got to do a Spooky Adventures video tomorrow, so we'll do one. And I'm not complaining. I actually have a lot of fun doing it. And so be on the lookout for that, folks. Have a blessed weekend. Pray for this country. Pray for Donald Trump to stay safe, please. And I'll see you next time here on The Bald Brad Show. Take care, Patriots.